Man, it is quite quiet, right? And I'm probably gonna post this at nighttime, so it better be quiet for you guys, or else I'm sorry about that. But when it is quiet and when you're just laying in bed, you know, at least in my personal opinions, it doesn't really feel peaceful, right? Which is kind of strange because usually we associate this sense of peace with quietness, right? And so it kind of got me thinking, right? And so that's basically what this video is going to be about. I don't know why I didn't think I had that. Yeah, you know, during the day, right? It's almost like your thoughts are chosen by yourself, right? For things that you don't want to acknowledge, you just choose to acknowledge, choose to say that, they're not there, right? If something happens that you don't like, then you're probably not going to bat an eye to it, right? And so in the moment, you might try and ignore it, you might try and look away, right? Like, for example, let's just say someone you saw walk past you that, you didn't really like, right? During the day, you're just gonna walk past and think nothing of it, right? And just like any normal time or any normal interaction you've had with them, it doesn't matter, right? But, you kind of ignore everything in a sense, right? Especially during the day. I mean, in my opinion at least, everything kind of feels controlled, right? Now, when you compare that to the nighttime, right? In the night, it almost feels like your thoughts are kind of entering without your permission, right? It's almost like you didn't ask them to come. They just kind of appear, right? That interaction in the daytime that you might not have thought of anything about just magically comes back to mind. And, you might be thinking, why, right? Why are these thoughts just magically coming back now? Like, I don't want them to come back, so why do they have to resurface, right? And to be honest, I think in the nighttime, you just have less patience for that pretending that live with your whole life, right? In the morning, you kind of, or sorry, not in the morning, in the day, you kind of shield, what you don't want to see. And I think at nighttime, you're just so tired that you just stop pretending, right? Even if it's just for a second, that small moment of break just makes you feel so much better that it comes automatic at that point, right? And so when there's more honesty, it almost feels uncomfortable, but that doesn't stop your brain, right? That might even make it go faster, right? That might even make you feel even more uncomfortable because the truth is that it doesn't matter how uncomfortable you feel. The thoughts are still gonna resurface, right? And so I tend to notice that things, even if it's small things, right? Like, even if someone just said something that was a joke, right? Or someone did something that I didn't really like, they almost feel bigger at night, right? And, oh, ooh, that's cool. And like I was saying, right? These small little things just come back, right? Like one awkward moment that you shared in class, or one time that you said something that you probably shouldn't have, or sometimes when you stutter, right? These, all these things, right? They come back to you. It could be from a decision that you didn't even like think twice about. It could be about something that kind of feels like it's becoming bigger now, right? And you kind of wonder why, right? And I guess in a way, you can kind of connect this to Minecraft because during the day it's peaceful, right? You ignore all the hostile mobs that are out, but at night, everything just comes alive, right? All these negative things, like all these mobs, they just start to get you, right? And I think that's an important lesson because, you know, in the daytime, the mobs are still there, but it's almost like you choose not to be with them because it's day, right? Oh shoot, I need to make. I was gonna make things with that. Sorry, but you know, the danger almost feels like it's invisible, right? It almost feels like it's inexistent because what is there to fear in the day, right? I mean, let's be real. During the day, I almost feel like I'm invincible, right? Because the only things that could take me out is fall damage and me being stupid, right? Let's be real. And that kind of reminds me to when I'm just lying in bed, right? When you're just staring at a ceiling, you know, just thinking of all those conversations that you had, you know, and when you reflect, you kind of think, you know, maybe I should have said less here, maybe I should have said more here. And all these times where you're critiquing yourself just pile up, right? And at night, there's almost this urge that gets you that kind of makes you want to fix everything that's wrong, right? Every little thing that you couldn't do, you want to fix all of a sudden, even though you know you can't, right? And these thoughts don't really happen during the day, they only happen at night. And, you know, you start to make plans that you aren't going to follow. You start to promise yourself that tomorrow's going to be different, knowing that it most likely won't. And you start to think of these solutions to all your problems, and yet you don't follow out with them. So, why is it that at night you just try everything you can and you can't fix it? And if I'm gonna be completely honest, right, I have no idea, right? Because I, for one, do this a lot. I'll sit there at night just staring into a blank ceiling, hoping that things are magically gonna get better, even though I know that they won't, right? And you could almost think of when you're sitting there at night on how you want to do anything but just lay and sit in silence, right? Lay and staring at the ceiling, right? That's why people go on their phones, that's why they scroll, that's why they start texting. But it's mainly at night where you see all these people active because they kind of want to distract themselves from all of this distractions that they're having at nighttime, right? All this replaying moments that they have in their head, they almost want to feel like it's not even there, right? Because it's not because the silence feels unsafe, it's because the silence makes you feel uncomfortable, right? And when you go in the morning, things start to change, right? When you finally decide to wake up, things start to get better. And, you know, that's pretty big, right? Because you start to wonder, why are my problems feeling so much smaller? You know, they're also so much easier to ignore. and what changed, right? And to be honest, nothing really changed. It's almost like you kind of needed something important, right? It's almost like you were supposed to be paying attention to a teacher's lecture and you just turned it on silent because you didn't want to hear about it. And, oh shoot, I don't know if I could be the skeleton. And I'm just saying, right? Oh, well, that's handy. I didn't know that that was a part of the game. But like I was saying, right? It's in the night where, you know, all these thoughts just start to feel so much more real, right? Like, I'm not good enough. I could be repeating to them myself. I could be repeating that to myself over and over and over again. And I don't really know why, right? Because deep down I know that I'm not the one saying this to myself, right? Because I know that I would never say anything like that. But in the night, emotions just appeal a lot more than logic, right? Because all this certainty, I don't know what the word is called. You know what I'm trying to say? Certainty? Yeah, all this certainty, you know, it kind of feels like a nuisance, right? Because it's almost like throughout the day you've been trying to mask something, right? You've been trying to say that, you're good, right? You've been trying to lie to yourself. But at night, it's almost like you're too tired to, right? It's almost like you're too tired to even care. And so, there's a lot of uncertainty in my life, right? And I've had a lot of things that I've regret doing, right? There's a lot of things that I've regretted, and especially at night, they replay a lot more. And, I don't really know if the night really reveals the truth, right? But maybe it exaggerates fear. Maybe it doesn't reveal the truth. Maybe it just exaggerates what I've been trying to think in my head, right? Those what if possibilities. And then I kind of sit there and I kind of think to myself, what if it does both? Right? What if it is revealing the truth, but just in a little more than I would have hoped? Right? Because some decisions aren't the smartest, right? And once you make them and you have that sense of regret, especially at night, you really think about it a lot more, right? And you really come back to it because what else can you think about, right? You have no distractions. In the day, you could think about, what you're gonna do, all the people you're gonna talk to, with, the plans you have. Oh. But at night, it's almost like they all disappear. All those distractions that have been keeping you from thinking about all this stuff are now inexistent, right? And it's just you. And, some people, me included, I don't know. There's just something about that I don't like. Partially because I don't like that part of myself, right? And I don't really know, right? I mean, I think you have to end that, that sense of failure with acceptance, right? And not advice. Now, what I mean by that is you're not really trying to solve your issues right here, right? instead what you're trying to do is you're just trying to notice that they're there, right? You're just trying to notice this pattern that you keep having. And so what am I even doing for this house? I think I'm gonna do this. 1, 2. Okay. But like I was saying, sometimes you just need to say it out loud, right? Sometimes you just need to say that you have an issue out loud, because trust me, a bunch of the time when you say it out loud, it almost feels like there's something getting lifted off you, right? Because you don't need to hide this part of you anymore, because it is who you are, right? And you shouldn't be ashamed of that. And so, you know, okay, hold on. What am I'm trying to think. I think I'll have the door be right here. That scared me so bad. I felt my thing jump. But I think I have all these great ideas also at night, right? I think it's almost like a double-edged sword. Because on one hand of things, right, I have all these negative thoughts about myself in the nighttime. But on the other hand of things, I have all of these great discussions with myself, right? These insights on my life, right? How to make it improve, how to make it better, what went wrong. And maybe they help, right? Maybe reflecting back on it at night helps. Or maybe it doesn't, right? I don't really know. And so I don't think that night is the main thing that creates these thoughts. I think it's just when I finally get to hear them, right? It's finally when I get to notice that they're there. Because I'm sure in the day I'm thinking about this, right, all the time. I'm sure of it, right? But in the night is when I finally start to pay attention to it, right? There's no more distractions. There's nothing keeping me from acknowledging that they're there. And so it almost feels like I could finally realize that it's there, I guess you could say, right? Let me just make sure I don't die, because that would not be good. Okay, no, that's cool. It's a humble little house right here. And I'm just gonna make the floor and then call it a video soon, because I'm recording this. Actually, no, I'm actually recording this at a reasonable time. I'm recording this at 10, but I think that that's enough for me. I don't want to make this out of this material. I'll make the second floor on a different video, probably on the next episode, which will probably be the finale of season 1, because I don't know, I'm getting really busy now, and I kind of can't keep making these videos that often. But I mean, this isn't that bad, right? At least I hope it's not. I mean, if you guys watch this video, please comment down furnace, I guess that'll be the phrase of the day. I'm really appreciative to the people who watch my videos. I saw that the one dude actually commented lantern on my last video, so I appreciate that. It kind of lets me know that you're watching it, and it kind of keeps me motivated to making these videos, because let's be real, right? I don't really like talking about this, but after I saw a bunch of those positive comments before, it kind of just keeps me going, because it makes me happy, right? It makes me feel like I'm making a change in the world, which I like to think I am. And I think that's important. But I've been really busy with school lately, because high school has not helped me at all. So I guess if you guys have been wondering where I am, that's probably it. But oh shoot, I think my computer just crashed. Yep, my computer just crashed. I think that's a good time to call it. So, yeah, goodbye, guys.